cycle saying 666 Leviathan, the fool of man. You know what I mean? From niggas to gods, 720 degrees of knowledge. Dark vistas, foil ropes. From my brush, the oil coats. Canvases of spoiled hope. The toil of the broke. The unemployed boil on the dope. The coil in the scope. Blood that's blue royal like the Pope. The gold is crude oil, that's the cloak. Who's loyal, that's my quote. Drones hover above. Admonish the glove. Covered in the killer's blood. This is evil off the scale, bro. COINTELPRO, beeping at your mail, bro. Gatekeepers of this hellhole. Grease your elbow, or flip a piece and do a gel toe. Those sins stick like Velcro. To black males, the pale chose. They say we lack character like Stel Pros. But Benjamin Banneker designed the White House. Blood dyed linen. When you could get lynched for staring at white women. Trife living. Tie the block into knots like a tight ribbon. Bodies floating downstream. They pound cream for that pound queen. The 50 cal scream. Stole a soul like Al Green. A bowl of dro where your pals lean. Sordid blocks, corner shops. Nitties order rocks. The city lies in shock. Police aiming at black men. Firing shots, infiltrating a crack den. By requiring locks, polystyrene plots and strap men.
I project thoughts and frames written on gluttonous fabrics. Disrupts the earth's frequencies and cause clusters with planets to place my brainstem. Caged in verses filled with gangsters trying to escape the circuit. Figures chased on the abrasive surface. Schemes playing behind the state murders at close range. Bursts of his bone frame. Stick my pen through his soap stain. The paint colors. Sirens race through estate structures. Every corner they turn reflects my formation of brushes. Both eyes blurry behind the pig. Smoke from the split. Niggas toast to open the clip for those who show for a brick. He sampled coke with his nose to the tips and spilt on his leather. Carved the blade from my crooked letter. Bullets, injectors and exit from astral body planes. Looking like planets in topical Vossier stains. Putting shots in your frame. Liquid exotic blotch on my chain. Reflects estate lights that flicker like Dogan constellations. Blocks of pavements with strallies. I'm in my raincoat boxing. Mimicking Manny off the De La Hoya. The blocks the seller's employer. Filled with premature stretch mark bellies. Sellies and mourners. Perry and porous. Swerving Pirellis on them corners.
Thoughts like Virgil, treated like vermin. Animal circus might swerve on your borders like Serbs with burners. 48 laws and powers observed inside TD infinite verse. Thoughts like Virgil, treated like vermin. Animal circus might swerve on your borders like Serbs with burners. 48 laws and powers observed inside TD infinite verse. Keep the stainless on the margins. When apes go bananas, you become a target. Silken garlands and golden armor. Painting visuals with armature like a concept artist. Rap Alberto Vargas. Bodies laying stretched on the floor like parchment. Strip with darkness, primordial being in the grips of violent catharsis. Still remain untouched but tarnished, like war drones staying on their target. Beyond Gaza, disregarded like Muammar Gaddafi. Front of war councils to plead pardon. My brother paid the price for asking, my people still starving. Strange fruit still hanging in the garden. One bed apartments with children self-harming. Corporate media capture sales to marginalize the free market. Chasing stardom, we start sailing starboard. Flights to paradise gardens, I ain't Ghana, where gods slumber. Inside sacred circles of Sangsara. Loyal like a German to his Führer. A few fathom depths beneath Gomorrah. Networks playing less tribute to the author. Kept the onus firmly on the bonus. Roaming Middle Earth, building diagnostic components. Early negative childhood exposures. Bleed a colorless image like topaz. Cash fuels his chemical romance. Soviet machinery from that Slovak Mr. Kovacs. But Jace got the phone tap, operational blowback. Elephantine fingers grasp desperately for the trigger. We reinvigorated like early morning prayers and sanghas, wars on true religion. Post-industrial modernity, early birdie rise early. Whole day roll dirty with my dirty. Making Fibonacci numbers, transactions like Medici. Thoughts like Virgil, treated like vermin. Animal circus might swerve on your borders like Serbs with burners. 48 laws and powers observed inside TD infinite verse. Thoughts like Virgil, treated like vermin. Animal circus might swerve on your borders like Serbs with burners. 48 laws and powers observed inside TD infinite verse. Thoughts like Virgil, thoughts like Virgil. 48 laws of powers observed. Thoughts like Virgil, thoughts like Virgil, thoughts like Virgil, thoughts like Virgil. 48 laws of powers. powers observed. Laws of powers observed.
Rearing, we find earlier cattle rearing than anywhere else. We find, for example, we had thought that China was the first to make fire, and then we find that it is thousands of years before. We found so many things within the recent past in Africa that we begin to realize there are two Africas. Africa before and Africa after the Holocaust. And when I speak of the Holocaust, I'm speaking of the slave trade.
Right.
A lot of people did not realize that why we got this idea about people in the jungle is that the only way to escape slavery was to run into the jungle. I mean, in Mali, for example, we found postal networks, we found very sophisticated developments, but people ran into the jungle to escape slavery. And we found an extraordinary people called the Dogon, who ran into the mountains. And they were studied by Marcel Griol and Germaine Dietelin. And they, for example, they knew about the atom. They said everything is made up of invisible spinning particles. They knew of the exploding universe, the Big Bang. For example, they said the stars are running away from us. And we thought at first that was poetry until we realized what they were talking about. Because the stars are moving away from us. Because we are still expanding. The universe is still expanding. They had fixed upon a star that is impossible to see with the naked eye. They not only saw it. We call it Sirius B. They call it Sigipolo. They said it's the egg of our world. They fixed on this star, which I say is impossible to see with the naked eye. They not only saw it, they plotted its orbit for Marcel Griol right up to the year 1990. NASA's map of the orbit is the same as that.